Good morning. As you know that the Big R, every weekend, we look at the games that are coming over the weekend. And then again, we'll also look at the games that have been played over the weekend. Then we'll be talking to you again on Tuesday morning. And then I'm with Roy Mkhonza. You know, Roy has been away for some time. We are happy to have him. You know, Roy's got a very good insight. His analysis, are spot on. They complement each other together with Jacob Ntwentle. Jackie, Ntwentle Ngwanamme, are you on now? I think he's struggling with the pictures. But nevertheless, let's get started. Roy, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Saubrey.
Yeah. I see that you are Mapokopoko tonight, and then maybe you
want... we are breaking. I can't hear you.
I'm an all-rounder, man. I'm an all-rounder. You know, I watch almost everything. You see, I was disappointed today. I was hoping the OD will start on cricket, so it's been shifted to Sunday.
To Sunday.
By the way, those are my favorite sports: cricket and soccer. But I watch everything.
As that. Now let me tell you about cricket. You know, I never liked cricket. And you, Roy, you'll remember this will connect with you. Remember, in the past, we had problems. Our problems was the television was not showing football. It was showing rugby, cricket, cycling, and so on. All right? And soccer was big in the black community. So that made us to hate cricket. Rugby, cycling, we didn't like them. All right, for obvious reasons, we were denied to watch football. Now, the turning point was here. I saw Dr. Ali Bacher. If I'm not mistaken, early 80s, I saw this old man talking about cricket, the sport that I don't love so much. I watched him, you know. It was during the 80s. Then now, early 90s, this was the turning point. I saw cricket mushrooming in the township. And Dr. Ali Bacher was at the forefront. Now, that amazed me. I said, this guy, I saw him on TV. I was young by that time, talking about cricket. And now here are people playing cricket. I know a former colleague, he was a principal, Floyd Malinga. He was a teacher. He was one of the teachers who was involved in development of cricket. He used to love sport so much. When you go to SATU meetings, you would go, and then with his bat and everything. Then after SATU meetings, he rushed for training. So that really shocked me. And I was interested. Then I became very much interested in understanding this gentleman, Dr. Ali Bacher. Then I made a contact with him at Wanderers. And then, I was working with schools, and then I wanted to invite cricket players and Dr. Bacher. And guess what? He came. He came with all the big guns. Your many players, man. I can't remember quite well. They were good players, bowlers and so on. The only guy who was not there in that event, whom we really were looking forward to seeing, was Hansi Kronje. He was not there, but the guys were there. He brought them Dr. Ali Bacher. Guess what? We had about 5,000 kids having attended the event. Then that was on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Then during the week, we had a meeting, myself and Dr. Bacher. So I was telling him about, man, you know, I saw you when I was young, and I was moved by the fact that I saw you talking about this thing. Now I'm seeing it in reality, and so black players and black people now are embracing this sport. So that interested me. I remember when I was in his office, he gave me a plan. It was a 10-year plan. You know, I was so impressed by that organization. You know, that plan, it will show you all the games that were going to take place. That was in 1995, from 95 to 2005. So I was very, very, very much impressed. I said, these people are so organized. Then I started learning cricket. That's how I started to understand cricket. So that's my story as far as cricket is concerned.
I started. I finished schooling in 94.
Mm,
Then I took a break for 95. I was bored at home, and that time I just bought a house in Protea Glen. Uh, I was staying at home and I was bored, and then there was this games. I said, what kind of game is this? Because I can't understand what they were doing. It
mm,
took me time. I think there was a World Cup then. I said, few days after a week, I now understood what is happening.
mm, mm,
The runs, the different kinds, and
mm, mm, mm,
bowling, batting, and from there, and I still say today, I learned cricket with what people say it's a boring game for when it's unlimited overs.
mm,
I used
mm.
to stay the whole day.
Yeah,
If
yeah. Mm.
get my food in front of the TV, then it's cricket all the way. When it's unlimited, you stay the whole day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it does consume, eh? You know, cricket,
Yeah, no,
once you
you
watch
cannot.
it, you'll never move. You'll
Yeah,
continue and try to watch as much as you can. You see? So
yeah.
yeah, so that's what will happen with cricket, you know? And then you can watch almost the entire day watching the game without no interference and so on. Well, that's the story with me with cricket. Until today, myself and Dr. Ali Bacher, we are very tight. And then I know that I've made an arrangement that I want to interview him. He has agreed. Remember, he's an old man now. I think he's approaching 90s. So with COVID-19, we need to be very careful. But you need to tap from the brains of such people because they have wealth of knowledge which can help us to learn. Guys, I'm back to the show. Jackie, you're welcome because I can see that we are struggling with the connection. Are you okay now?
Yes, thank you, Tau. I'm okay now.
All right. I think it was your internet connection. We're talking about cricket. Roy was just telling me that he's an all-rounder. He likes cricket. He likes all sports. So I was telling him how did I ended up liking cricket, and then he was also relating how he did that. So that's how things happened. Now, guys, I don't know whether you want to have any input around that subject or what. Jackie?
Yeah, well, Tau, Mr. Mkhonza, good afternoon, good evening, sir.
Hey, Khosi.
Good morning, you have
How are you?
forgotten. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes,
Good morning.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
Mm,
gentlemen, my little bit of input, it's like it's the same with Mr. Mkhonza. You know, perceptions were created around cricket that it's a boring sport, and then it's a sport for whites only, and all those kind of negative connotations. But now I used to sit and then watch this game, and then I see people when they bat, then bowling. I couldn't understand all those things. But now, because of the interest that I had, I started to understand, have an idea exactly what is this game, how does it work. And I watched the World Cup. I could see, the excitement at the stadium. It also influenced me to love the game a lot. The very same thing with rugby. I had that negative perception about it, that it's a white people sport, and then we blacks, we don't play rugby and all those kind of things. But the moment I started to understand what is going on, that I loved the game. Back to the issue of cricket again. I would play the whole day. The unlimited series as well. I would play the T20. Now, you know what? I started to understand that the sport, and I love it. I love it. Me and my son, we normally play it. Even in the house, we just play it. The whole day, we just keep on playing without getting hungry. But it's a very good sport, I think. And I also love all the sports. Sport, sporting codes. It can be a rugby or football or cricket or everything. I just love every kind of a sport.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna throw a big question for today. I know Roy has not been with us for some time, and then probably could have missed that we're throwing questions, which were thought-provoking. One of the questions that we threw, Roy, in our last show, I don't want us to debate about it now. I'm just going to tell you what we discussed. The question was, which people, what criteria is being used to select people who should be conferred with the honorary doctorate? Now, myself and Jacob were asking, are the South African universities not aware of the input that has been made and is still being made by Mr. Kaiser Mdau? Because we felt an injustice that till to date, Mr. Kaiser Mdau is not referred as a doctor. That's one. And we even went further and said, for instance, Dr. Jomo Sono was conferred by the universities outside South Africa. All right? If I'm correct, I may be wrong. And then Dr. Ivan Khoza, fortunate enough, he has been conferred. And we know what Dr. Ivan Khoza has done to our football. And all these gentlemen that I'm talking about, they've contributed. And I'm happy to say Dr. Mlimela was finally conferred, May his soul rest in peace. So those were the issues that we were talking about. And we're also asking about Mbongeni Ngema. When is he gonna be honored? Are we waiting for him to pass on and then now start making noise? Those were the questions that we're asking. What was the other question that we asked, which we want people to start thinking and start debating? What was the other question that we asked, Jacob? It was about the VAR.
Oh, yes.
When is the PSL gonna start using the VAR? Because we all know, maybe we don't know much, but we all know our league is the richest in Africa. It's an injustice until we get all the facts. The reason why we don't have VAR.
You're fading away, sorry.
I'm fading away. No, I'm sure it's an internet. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear you on my side?
And can you hear me, Roy?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's internet. I don't know. I think my internet has been unstable today. I don't know. I'll check it after this show. So the other question was, when is the PSL going to introduce the VAR? All right, that was one of the questions. So,
That's right.
and those are the questions that we are throwing. And then one of the questions that, I don't know, do you have any other question that is mind-boggling? One of the questions that I would like to ask, this is really mind-boggling. Think about it, guys. Why is SABC not showing our football? They show it, but in a limited way. Instead, we see our SABC showing the Bundesliga. Nothing against the Bundesliga, but my next question is, will the German television show the PSL?
No, I doubt.
Those are the questions that I'm asking. And I hope people start debating them. And when I ask this question, I don't want to blame anyone. I don't want to say this one. But I'm saying, remember SABC, anyone can access it, especially men in the street. Now, without football, what's going to happen? Then I ask this question. Guys, tell me any professional boxer that you know today in South Africa. Or any professional golfer you know today in South Africa. Any professional tennis player today in South Africa.
That's a difficult one to answer right now because of there's no exposure by our own national broadcaster. Lack of exposure, it's killing the sport itself. And this is exactly what is happening to our football. I mean, how do you show us? You go and buy the rights for Bundesliga. We're not against it or anything like that. But what about our own local product, which is the PSL, the DSTV PSL? I mean, we should be knowing our players. We should be recognizing our own players. I mean, charity begins at home. But it looks like with SABC, the opposite is happening. It's so disappointing. Then tomorrow they will come and tell you about paying a TV license and everything. I don't think that the SABC has got the right, board that is running the organization in a correct way. There are so many problems. There are so many challenges.
Now I'll tell you one thing.
Let's just hope that things will, as we are revealing all these kind of challenges, somebody will be able to listen to our pleas, because we are representing the nation here. We love our own product. We love our own Bafana Bafana, and the PSL is very important for our national teams, and as well as our own league itself. I mean, we are the biggest. We're the richest league in Africa, but we can't even show our own local game. This is unfortunately, we cannot accept that.
Yeah. You know what? Remember the big R, it's all about positive R words. And one of those R words is relationship. We want to build. I don't want us to apportion blame. I want us to, because I don't want us to go to say it's the board or it's the government or what. No, I don't want us to go there. We are just asking questions. And then probably questions might prompt answers from some quarters.
Can I just comment?
Yes.
In a minute.
Yes.
I think it's not about blaming anyone, but I think I'll answer you with my answer. I'll give you the perspective in the whole thing. About the first one that you guys discussed, I think you were spot on. For an example, it's very fortunate or unfortunate that all the people that maybe had to deserves this at some point they had to go via the American Jomo Mtaunge, your Ace Nsolwengo, they all deserve it. That's one. But coming to this point that you've just raised up about SABC and VAR,
No.
one,
Oh, VAR, I don't think it's SABC. VAR, I think it has to do with...
No. It's about SAFA, but I want to give you the perspective on all of them into one answer.
All right.
To say one, it tells you about the kind of, I've said it on the show, that sport has become a business. So on your point, whether at some point we don't need to blame government or the board or the management of SABC, but it tells you, just take for instance now, if cricket will have a pause to go and look for if a player is bowled out and stuff, then you've got a channel like MultiChoice or DSTV that gives you a sponsor. Let's say it's expensive. If you know that camera that is used on World Cups and during the Champions League, you'll never find it here. It's only during the finals or UEFA or World Cup. But then you have a company like DSTV giving you a sponsorship. Those guys technologically, I think they match the latest. So it goes back to what you just said. Whether we don't want to blame them, but vision and everything comes into leadership. As you negotiate the sponsorship, you're not only looking at the revenue and the marketing brand, but to look back on what you're going to gain behind. Because for an example, the issue of SABC in all the sporting courts, if you go to Nkowanko or you go to the Bundus in Emakaya, where they've got no dish, but if they able to watch the non-paying channels, they're able. So it gives you revenue because this person, if the 265, if there will be all those games, one will make sure that at least I must go and pay my license because really I'm getting everything behind in terms of all the sports codes I like. But like I said, I think we're moving to a channel where this has turned business, and our leaders must also, their mind must change. Because, for an example, if you go to DSTV, if you go all over, the other day I was flying to Cape Town. Just before we landed, you will see Kylie, and if you look at those squatter camps, almost every shack has got a dish, and it tells you the coverage. So you've got a company like that now gives you sponsor. What do you go, or what do they provide on the plate for to give back to the community? So, but you cannot. These guys are in business. If you don't bring those things, they're just happy to give you the sponsorship and move away with the money.
Now look, guys, the issue of sport and blackout on television. I ask you this question deliberately of which professional boxer do you know today? And you don't know them because there is blackout. You don't know the tennis players because there is blackout. Now, let me tell you why I'm asking this question. The issue of having heroes, it goes beyond sport and business, as you are saying, Mr. Mkhonza. Why am I saying that? Here is pure Mkhonza. Is loved by the players. Then we have some of our kids, riddled by Nyaope and so on. But at least they know Pure Mkhonza. It's easy for us to take Pure Mkhonza to go to Tembisa High School and say, talk to these youngsters. I'm telling you, it's going to change one or two players. Now, if we don't show our sport on our national broadcaster, you know what's going to happen? Our kids are going to end up now hero worshipping the German players or the English players. Now, those English players, they will be inundated with demand. And where are we going to get them? Can you just imagine if, let's say, on the example that I've just made, we want Cristiano Ronaldo to come and address them. Do you think it will happen? There is any chance of that happening? Because my understanding is it's not about only football and business. It's also about building the social fiber. Because some of the kids, they said, you know what? I saw Dr. Kumala. There are a lot of kids that were their perception and thinking were changed by probably seeing Dr. Kumalo and probably motivating them. I've taken Arthur Zwane to a number of schools. I would go with Arthur, and Arthur, for him to talk to those players, change a number of youngsters to look life in a different perspective. Now, I'm saying if you have that blackout, yes, I agree, you go to Kailicha, you'll see everybody is having a dish. But the majority of our people don't afford. So my issue here is, yes, it can be on DSTV who are sponsoring. But at the same time, the national broadcaster must have part of the games. Because I don't get the logic of us not seeing football, but we see the Bundesliga.
Can I interrupt you, Saubrey?
Yes.
I think we are agreeing, but we are disagreeing at some point.
Yeah.
That's why I said in the last games, in the last my last show, I mentioned something like, if you go to churches, there is politics. If you go to sports, there is politics. Politics are our life now. Let me just give you an example. If you follow how Ivan Mkhonza could, during the apartheid days, he will go out to have games in the neighboring countries just to actually promote the political side of the banned political activities. I'm coming then to say we cannot shy away. Take the issue of rights. The rights that we can't have games, CAF games here, it's because of the person who's controlling. We're in the right way now. Politically, the government is supporting the appointment of Mtsipe to go and run, become a president. He can push that influence to FIFA. Overall, soccer worldwide is a unifier. So it includes politics. So I think, like I said, our leaders need to move with times and know that the purpose of whatever they're doing, because after all, I'm telling you, the influence that FIFA, remember how Sepp Blatter won the House of African countries to vote for him, because he was taking where the poorest of the poorest countries, he was taking activities there. So our leaders must move with that mentality. I'm happy that at least they're starting to see, so that not everything is situated in the northwest African countries, Morocco and them. So if we have our own, you'll be able to say, for example, these games that are held up there to say we can't have rights to broadcast CAF games, it must move away. But they're actually benefiting. So it's all those things. Politics comes to play in these things.
All right, guys, I'll tell you one thing. We are running short of time. You know, I want to be fair to you as Makosi fans. I want to give you time to talk about Makosi. You know, those are the questions that we throw them in and ask questions. Now, Kaiser Chiefs, I don't know who wants to start. Like I said, as Makosi fans, I want to give you that opportunity before we close.
I'm not sure if Jacob can maybe has information, but I'm not sure. The last time I checked, the team was supposed to come this side for a second leg, so they asked for postponement. So I'm not sure if that game is going to happen.
Yeah, that game has been postponed. CAF has approved their application, and the game will only be played tomorrow. That will be on Saturday at 3:30 FNB Stadium. They wanted the game to be played on Sunday, and Chiefs refused that because we've got a game that should be played against Black Leopards on Tuesday. So as a result, it has been postponed until tomorrow. However, we are still waiting for the team to come to South Africa. And apparently the reason that was given was some challenges in terms of their visas and everything. That's why they wanted to postpone the game. And I feel that it's very unfair to us as a Amakhosi and South Africa at large, because this team knew very well last year already, some couple of months ago already, that they will be playing in South Africa. They should have sorted their documents, their traveling documents on time. And that's exactly what we did. We went there, then we played the game. And remember, if they're not pitching up tomorrow, it's going to be a walkover for us. We will move on over to the next leg, which is against the team that will be winning in Angola. Primero yes. So that game definitely is not happening tonight, and it's going to happen tomorrow. Well, let's watch this space and see what's going to happen. That's in the Amakhosi. I've got more good news as well in the Amakhosi section. Our top striker, Samir Nukovic, will be available on Tuesday against Black Leopards. Reports are coming out from the coach that he's doing wonders in the training sessions. He's scoring goals like hotcakes, and we are definitely looking forward to welcome him on Tuesday against Black Leopards. And Zuma is still injured, but he will be joining very soon. Maybe in a week or two, he will be back joining the team. In a nutshell, that's all I've got for Amakhosi at the moment. Unless if we can go to the Premiership, DSTV Premiership, we've got fixtures. So tonight there's nothing that is happening.
Yeah. Now I'll tell one thing.
Yeah.
We are going to close now, and then because I'm not gonna extend unless you want to extend. I don't know. You still want to talk?
How many minutes?
We don't have enough minutes, but we can extend if we want to.
Okay, Mr. Roy, I don't know on your side, sir.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what we can do? I don't know, Jackie. We can make a plan that on Monday we'll talk a little bit longer. Remember, the larger part of the topic was taken by the question that I was asking, and then yeah. So
that's right.
Yeah, and good luck to all the teams. I know we haven't touched on all teams, but it was nice for us to start with cricket for a different and a bit of rugby there, and come back to football. Yeah.
Player, man. I'm worried with this guy now coming back from India, and already Tito is want to take him away from us. Hey.
Which one?
Our top striker.
Yeah.
Lurkovic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And remember they have.
I heard those rumors, but
remember they have money, those guys, eh?
Yeah, they can pay anything. Hey.
Yeah, they have money, those guys. They can get anyone, eh? All right, guys. Thank you very much.
I can't afford to lose him at the moment.
Yeah, especially when you are limping like this. And just like you said, that this team that is supposed to play Chiefs, it's management again. It shows that lack of management because this thing you plan them well in advance. But guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate. And then let's keep in touch. We are talking again on Monday, Tuesday. I mean on Tuesday morning. Thank you. Kosi for life.
No,
Thank you.
Bye.
Ndwente,
Cheers.
Skalewala Moringa, the big R Moringa.
Thanks, my brother.
Ndwente.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers. Lovely weekend. Good.
Bye.
No, cheers.